Welcome to Block 3, Number Line. So these notes you're going to copy, like I said before, you see this little logo, copy this into your notes. You're going to fill in the blanks here using the word bank, but I kind of wanted to make it easier for you. You can either circle or you can just write down what the right answer is. So we have -10 plus 13. So the one thing you need to remember is that sometimes you don't have to write everything down. Remember how we were talking about how these look like two teams? Let me make this a little larger so you can see it better. You have the -10 team and you have the +13 team. And sometimes it's helpful if you have highlighters to help you see the difference. But what team has more players? Well, I would say that this one has more players. And that's positive because we know 13 is a larger number than 10. So if we look at it this way, we don't actually have to find the value. We just know that the answer is going to be a positive answer. Let's look at this next one. Make sure you write this down in your notes. We have a +4. Oh, and we also have a +2. So they're on the same team. So the answer is going to be, you guessed it, positive. Now this next one, we have a +4. They tried to trick us here by putting a positive, but this just adding. We still have a separate team here, -10. Well, I know 10 is bigger than 4, so I'm going to say that the answer here is going to be a negative answer. So be very careful when you're reading on your mastery check, the very final, your quiz that you do, that you're paying attention. And using colors is very beneficial. So this next one, the sum of two positive integers is positive. And I don't know about you, but when I see all these words, it freaks me out a little. So I'm going to think of an example, two positive integers. And sum, we know that means to add. So I'm thinking of one positive integer. I'm just going to say 1 because there's 2 of them. And I'm going to think of another positive integer. I'm going to say 2. Is 1 plus 2 is 3. Is 3 positive? Yes, it is. So it's always true. Okay, how about this next one? The sum, which means to add, two negative integers is a negative. So let me think of -2. I'm just going to say -2 again. Oh, look at that. They're on the same team. They tried to trip us out with that plus sign, but it's not going to confuse us. So -2 and -2 is going to equal -4. So yeah, that's always true. I don't like to use big numbers, so. How about this next one? The difference. Oh, great. That means we're subtracting when we see the word difference. So I'm going to say subtracting. Between two positive integers is positive. So let's see. 2 minus 2 is 0. And we know 0 is not positive or negative. So it can't always be true. So we already know now that it's only sometimes true. Now this next one. Let's see. The difference. Difference. Okay. So make sure you're writing these sentences down and then making the adjustments that I'm doing, because that'll help you remember when you're doing the actual practice what the answer could possibly be. Between two negative integers is negative. Okay. So let's try -2 minus -2. What does that equal? Ooh, look at this is our little friend. Do you remember when we saw this earlier in our notes? So go back and remember from block 2 number tiles when we did that example. It was this one where we had to add the opposite and rewrite the equation when you have those two next to each other. So let's go and apply that here. Let me take a moment and write. So add this to your notes. So the expression is -2. The first value stays the same, but we're going to add. Let me switch that minus to an add, and whatever the opposite of -2 is, which we know is +2. So what does that become? -2. Now they're on two different teams, and we already know that's 0. So sometimes it's true. And here by process of elimination, you can say never true, but let's look at this as an example. A positive integer, so let's try 1, minus a negative integer is negative. So -3. Is this going to be a negative? Oh, here we have that add the opposite rewrite, because we have this special combo, like we had that special combo here. We have that special combo here as well. So let me just make that darker so you could see it. So we're going to rewrite it. 1 stays the same. We need to add. And then the opposite. Remember the opposite of this number, which is, if that's a -3, then this has to be a +3. So 1 + 3, we rewrote it, is now 4. Is that negative? No. So that's how come that's never true. Moving on. Use the number line to model and find the following sums. Then complete the number sentence for each sum. Well, let me show you how you would do it here. You take your original value of 2, and I'm going to find it here. I'm going to draw a little line right here above 2. So we went from 0 to 2. Now, we need to go +5 more. So here's the 0 to 2, and now we're going to go +5 more from 2. So I'm going to draw a little line here, and I'm going to go 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So +5 is being demonstrated like this. So my new number is 7. And you know already in your mind that 5 + 2 is 7, but you need to know how to put it on a number line, because that will be on your first quiz, being able to do that. So looking at the next one, it's the same thing. Use the number line to model. Except here, they gave us a -10. So I have to indicate from 0, right here, all the way to -10, which is right there. So you can see that represents that. But now it wants me to go +6. So I start from -10, and I got to go over 6. So I'm just going to count first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my dot's going to go there, and that's going to represent the +6. And where does that end up at? -4. So my answer here is -4. All right, thank you for completing this into your notes, exactly how it's represented here. And now you can go and do the practice.